right, everybody, welcome to The Infinite Mouth. I'm your host, Anthony, and today we have another ridiculous show. Now, this one, we're gonna dive into a bunch. You know, unfortunately, I was very diligent in the last couple of episodes that I did, and I actually ended up breaking some news. There was news that I was putting out before people actually had the opportunity to view. Now, with that being said, it came out a little bit. Every single news place came out with the information and started talking about the information a day, 6 to 10 hours or a day after I had done my last podcast. Now, I don't put the dates, I don't put all that stuff anymore because information is ever changing, and I don't want people to hang up on specific dates, right? So we started speaking about. So before we go into the news, let's talk about a couple things that had taken place quickly for the sports. Congratulations to Tampa Bay Lightning, and congratulations the Montreal Canadiens, right? I hope actually the Canadiens win. I hope Tampa Bay loses, but we'll see what happens. I'm not too confident. I really don't care. It probably is the least sexy Stanley Cup playoff that I'll end up watching, but I'll watch it anyway, just because I absolutely love hockey and I love the sport. On another note, for all the friends and family, for all the followers and fans, I would just like to say thank you for all the support that you've given. Please donate to the show. If you can go directly to the website. There is a donate button. You could donate via PayPal. You could donate via Venmo. You can subscribe. Now, here's the deal. Maybe you say, hey, Anthony, I want to give you $60. Then go to either Patreon or go to Podbean Patron Program through any one of my links. It's all on the website. And you can get a $5 a month package, right? The monthly packages would be $5 a month over 12 months. So that would be $60. Subscriptions look better. Subscriptions do more for the community because more and more people want to subscribe when more and more people are subscribing. We've had a lot of people who do donations and other people just don't see them. Okay, so it's not a big deal. But if you're looking to contribute, that's a way that you can contribute to the show. Now, let's get into some of the deep, dirty, dark stuff that's been going on. If anybody's paid attention, look, my ban, my suspension from Facebook is essentially over. Okay, so I wanted to let everybody know that by the time you hear this, I should be able to be back on Facebook within the next couple hours, and there will be a message that comes from me that says that I'm here, I'm back, I'm on Facebook, we're good to go. But everything that I've been doing is still on all of my other channels. Now, we talked about all of these people that we've seen from child trafficking, all this different stuff. We're seeing more and more of that stuff coming out. Now, I'm not trying to gross everybody out. I'm not trying to get them all crazy. All I'm going to say is this. You are hearing and seeing more and more people in predominant positions being found out, or this stuff is coming out about them. I reported it in my last episode. I would say just go listen. You had the Drake Bell from Nickelodeon's children's stuff. You had one of the advisors or one of the people that was involved directly with the Clintons that information was coming out about. This John McAfee story. And if you haven't paid attention to John McAfee, I wanted to make this very clear. John McAfee was a weird dude. Extremely weird. John McAfee, you got to watch the documentary on this guy. He's a weird guy, like super weird, and we knew that. If you have followed this guy's journey, you have known that. Now, I wanted to very clearly talk about his wife coming out his girlfriend / wife, right, his partner, comes out and says that John called me and said, I will talk to you tonight. I love you. I'm doing well. And they discussed the extradition from where he was in Barcelona, Spain, to being brought over to the United States to deal with financial crimes. He would have spent a couple years probably. He's been dodging this for years. This is not stuff from like the other day. This is why I'm telling you this guy is weird. He was on his own island doing his own thing, worried about protection and whether or not, cartels were after him because of the information he knows. Like, if you know the way the world works, a lot of people don't know. This is the problem that people think. They think that somebody's bad, but reality of it is these people may have had inside information and are getting a raw deal here. So they run to other countries. Look at Snowden. Eric Snowden uncovered all of Obama's lies and him spying on American people. They tried to put him in jail. They wanted to extradite him. They essentially wanted to kill him. He got to Russia. Putin's like, you're not touching him. They can't touch him. Eric Snowden is the same kind of case as a John McAfee. John McAfee, Eric Snowden were the same as a Seth Rich. They had information. They just didn't get killed. Well, McAfee did. He wasn't suicidal. Same thing with Epstein. It's funny. The same conversation between Epstein and his attorney is the exact same conversation between McAfee and his partner. Okay? I just want people to understand that. And what happened in Miami with that building, it is awkward. A building doesn't just drop. And to be brutally honest, if that's not declared like a sinkhole, because I know like a sinkhole could happen, but it's not a sinkhole. Florida is notorious for having weak roads. They do have sinkholes, so I'm not going to sit here and say, oh no, that was completely done by X person or whatever it is. I can't confirm that. What I can tell you is what happened in Florida was more of a demolition than it was a sinkhole or an oops, we didn't build this correctly. You tell me the last time you saw a building drop that cleanly down. Were there bangs? People report that there were bangs that took place. People report that there were people staying in that hotel that were directly correlated and related to McAfee. There was information. No, Anthony, that's a far fetch. I'm going to find, as I continue to talk to you, something that I had found where they're talking about things being found at a train station in the UK. Documents. MHS documents. But before we go into all that, like I told you, this is going to build more and more. And here's the funny thing. Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, that's her district. Schultz has been in the negative light for the last couple months, not only with the impeachment stuff, but the different ties that she essentially has from money laundering through Florida. Okay? That's even more. Now, judge rules in favor of GA voters. Okay? Since we were talking Florida, we already know what they're doing, but listen to this. Court rules for petitioners again in Fulton Valley inspection case. Voter GA comment. We are pleased that the court has ruled in our favor again for the fifth time. The ruling substitutes defendants by replacing currently named government organizations with individual board members we named originally in our lawsuit. It also moots Don Samuel's attempt to dismiss our case. This continues the string of victories we have, including how we obtained the original protective order, conditional approval to the inspection ballots, access to the ballot images, and the order to unseal the ballots, Garland. All right? More and more, man. Trump is on Rumble. That is his account. And he's going to be opening a social media platform which is going to work directly with Rumble. He needs to have a stable launch, otherwise they're just going to try and blow it out of the water. Now, a stable launch is something that I've been talking about for a very long time. And what do I mean by that? Every time a video game goes out, every time somebody launches a new product online, you have massive users, right? Tens of thousands or millions of people trying to get in. It's like an online video game. There's always a rocky start because of the elasticity of the bandwidth, and you trying to get so many people hopping onto a channel and trying to join into the same location, it causes an issue. Now, with that being said, I hope Trump has this done. Now, if you haven't noticed, Trump's from the desk of Trump are essentially like his daily speeches, right? From the desk of Donald Trump. He always puts something out there. It's more than what Joe's put out there. And also, too, is more and more that you're seeing with the information coming out from Georgia, from Arizona. Arizona's going to have their audit done, and we're going to see it. Pennsylvania is going to follow suit. Michigan's going to follow suit. And Georgia's going to follow suit. All of that's coming out. And if you haven't followed Patrick Burns is one of the software engineers, right? He owned tons of the software engineers. He's been involved in different security programs as well. He wrote his book, The Deep Rig. The Deep Rig's Facebook page, group, and event have been removed. And did you know that 60% of people find out about a documentary via a Facebook event? That's crazy, right? Well, Facebook's in heat now because there are extensive amounts of trafficking that is actually going on in Facebook. Right? People are using it. Bad people are using it to traffic people, meet and greets, and go that route. Now, that's a problem, most of us would say. It's a problem. Most of us would say, that's extremely disgusting. Can't believe that that's happening. I know. It's the same things I've said for a while. You see more and more of it. Now, we listened to Eric Shevin in his sentencing, and it says... It's really weird. He says his comments at the end to the Floyd family. Now, first, I don't believe Floyd should be martyred. I don't think that the guy should have died. But the fact that we're trying to do like a martyrship for George Floyd is moronic. It's idiotic, and it's downright insane. The stupidity that's coming from it. Okay, the guy's not a martyr. He used a counterfeit fake bill, which is illegal. He was high, which was illegal, and he refused to follow the directions of the officers. Therefore, here we are. Right? It's crazy. Now, I'm going to read you a couple things that you could see, because this goes back to the whole... John McAfee thing. Okay. There have been hit pieces all over the place where people are trying to talk about Q stuff. I mean, they can, whatever. It's ridiculous. McAfee, like we said, he was in jail. He had a dead man switch. He died. His dead man switch, I don't believe, actually activated. That somebody placing a Q on his on his actual Instagram, I don't really buy that either. Okay? If anybody who could utilize blockchain's immutability to activate a dead man switch, it would be McAfee. If you look carefully through BTC's OP return transactions in the next few days, and also the equivalent type of transaction on other crypto coins, you can see where anything is moving. If he's really dead, then where's the dead man switch with dozens of terabytes of data in it? Supposedly, McAfee had owned a place in that building that dropped that had over 25 terabytes of information. Remember what I told you? That building didn't fall naturally. And how, if a building is sandwiched like that between other buildings, if it is starting to crack and move, it's not dropping like somebody blew up a bowl of Jell-O and it just drops down. It doesn't make any sense. I do believe he's dead. I believe they got him. Same way with Epstein. What have I told you the entire way? Ghislaine Maxwell, when does a bird sing? You're seeing more and more people being drugged out of the dark side of things into the light. You're hearing more and more about certain people. You're finding out more and more about certain people. The drip, 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 drip of information between the audits, people being arrested with predominant programs, people stepping down, Warren Buffett stepping away from the Gates Foundation and Microsoft. That's big. It's called distancing. Twitter is losing their mind that Trump is on Rumble and people can listen to everything that's there, because that is going to draw all of the people over to Rumble and right back away from Twitter. So they say, you can't stop the truth. True. Pastor Mark Burns. We've got to stop being African American or Hispanic American. We've got to just start seeing ourselves as Americans. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Ken Bennett says he is 70 to 80% convinced that those crying about the audit are hiding something. Absolutely. Now, Hillary Clinton campaign official and founder of organization to end sexual violence against children is arrested on child rape charges. Joel Davis. I said this in my last episode. I brought up him and this other guy, the other guy from Nickelodeon. So I just wanted to be clear, like that is there. That's all of that stuff is there. But let's talk about good news of the week. Okay. This does come from CJ Truth. I'll bring it to you here. Thank you, CJ, for doing this. Let's go through these one by one. All 50 Senate Republicans united to block H.R. 1 for the People Act, the sweeping bill, would have made it much easier for Democrats to steal elections. DeSantis signed a bill that requires Florida high school students to learn about the evils of communism and totalitarian ideologies. He wants the students to understand why people would risk their lives to flee communist and socialist countries in order to come to the United States. And if you haven't paid attention, that is something that they're conflating in all of their discussions, all of their topics, everything that takes place, is them trying to make people think that they're curing a socialistic way of doing it or a communistic way of doing it, and they're not. It's all about power and money. Why is capitalism? So the kids are taught that they're never going to get ahead, which is the whole purpose of capitalism. It's why we've survived 200 plus years of doing this. That's why. If we were an apartheid, if we were part of a monarchy like you're seeing in England, why then is there almost 1 million people marching up and down the streets telling them that they don't want to deal with the lockdowns anymore. You're not seeing that here on our news, but that's happening. Almost 1 million people going through the streets of London protesting, clogging the streets all the way through. Another reporter has blown the whistle on mainstream media corruption and dishonesty. April Moss of CBS 62 in Detroit went public with Project Veritas to expose her network editorial double standards regarding COVID-19 shots and how corporate interests are damaging the public. Now, there was another reporter who followed suit. The videotape came out. The recordings are out. Another one bites the dust. Delegates from Oregon and Washington visited the Maricopa County audit facility Tuesday. That makes 22 state delegations who have toured the facility so far. Wendy Rogers confirmed the additional state delegations have requested a tour. 22 states following what Arizona's doing. You think they don't know something? The NSA has agreed to produce all documents, records, and other tangible evidence related to the FBI's illegal surveillance of 16,000 American citizens. I can tell you this. If that is in any way, in any shape, or any form like what they did for UFOs, you'll get no information because I'll go into the UFO documentation afterwards. Ivermectin has caused a 97% decline in COVID-19 cases in Delhi, India. Delhi began using ivermectin on April 20th, 2021, and it has saved countless lives. Now, who said ivermectin and HCQ? Trump, right? Other doctors, Fauci and them said no. So, once again, in about a 30-day span time, 30 to 60 days, we could have eliminated over a year of lockdowns and restrictions on freedom, right? Just with those two drugs. How does that feel now for all those people who want people to go get the shot, the jab? You got to go get it. What have I said? If the shot is so good, why do I need it? If your shot is so good, why do I need to take it? No? No, we don't have anything yet with that one? Okay. I just want to know. Because last time I checked, if I take something and it's good, I shouldn't have to take anything else or worry about anybody else, right? Good talk. Peter Daszak has been removed from the commissions and is investigating the origins of COVID-19. He was recused after it all came out that he helped secretly denounce the lab leak theory while failing to mention his close ties to the Wuhan lab. Wow. We already knew that. I reported that in the last one, and Fauci as well. Parents and students are suing Indiana University over its mandatory COVID-19 shot policy. They allege that the mandate violates the liberty protected by the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which includes rights of personal autonomy, bodily integrity, and the right to reject medical treatment. There is a legal precedence for this based on a recent Florida appeals court ruling. Once again, what happened to my body, my choice? What happened to we shouldn't be vaccinating our kids? It's funny, all of those people are the same people that have flipped the script. Now they're doing it completely different. Now they don't care. Now you have to go get this, right? Bullshit. The whole thing's a hoax, guys. Australia has banned critical race theory from its national school curriculum. 5 U.S. states have banned CRT in their schools, and another dozen are considering similar action. Well, now they have changed the name of critical race theory to something else because the same question would come up like I asked and like others would ask. If it is what it is, a theory. There's no concrete evidence. It's a theory. I already told you Hillary Clinton's campaign official and founder of the organization, Joel Davis, sentenced to 13 years in prison. Davis was convicted of engaging in sex acts with a minor. So, when are you going to start talking to the Clintons? Because this is not 1, 2, or 3. This is multiple that have not now tied to those organizations. Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts is sending a team of Nebraska State Patrol troopers to Del Rio, Texas to help with the border crisis. A Rasmussen report found that 82% of likely voters believe that freedom of religion is important for a healthy American society. Correct. Silverton, Colorado Mayor Shane Furman announces the Pledge of Allegiance will be banned at trustee meetings. In response, some attendees stood up and recited it loudly. When he tried to interrupt them, more people just joined in. Why would you take the flag away? It's a revolution. Yeah, until you get shot. Until you don't know how to defend yourself. Right? Unfortunately, a truck struck several pedestrians, killing one at a pride parade in Fort Lauderdale on Saturday. Multiple high-profile Democrats, including Fort Lauderdale's openly gay mayor, made fools of themselves by blaming Governor DeSantis and calling it a terrorist attack against the LGBT community before the facts came out. It turns out the accident was caused by a 77-year-old gay man who was a participant in the parade. Democrats were forced to publicly apologize. Weird. Right? It's funny how much stuff is inflicted by their own people. Pretty crazy. Now, this comes from Leonard Boltz Pearson. And this is from Javon Hutton Pulitzer, the guy who was talking about all the audits and was talking about the integrity of the ballots and everything else. So, this is regards to the forensic audit. Last weekend, I had the privilege to honor and travel to Phoenix and observe the Maricopa County forensic audit. To say it was amazing is a gross understatement. The Republican Senate, led by Karen Fann, is technically in charge of the audit, and they have contracted Florida-based cyber ninjas to actually conduct it. Despite all the negative press and the endless lies that are printed every day by the mainstream media, this is the most intense, complete, and thorough forensic audit that has ever been conducted on the planet. The procedures have been implemented to ensure that the chain of custody in the ballot is never broken and that every single ballot will be examined intensely under a microscope to determine its authenticity. Armed guards watch over the entire facility 24 hours a day. There are 9 cameras watching over the floor of the counting that was taking place and 90 micro cameras, which individually monitor every move. Only red or green pens are allowed on the floor. Tearing paper is prohibited. Cell phones, tablets, and smartwatches are also prohibited. Any type of marker restricted, including lipstick or chapstick, you sign in and out with the procedures that mimic those around nuclear weapons. With the exception of the police, every one of the workers is volunteer and their political affiliation is never known. In fact, any talk of politics strictly prohibited, the only requirements being a resident of Maricopa County and voting in the last election. It doesn't matter which way a worker would lean politically because the procedures are so rigid that it's impossible for anyone to cheat anyway. The Democrats have tried to shut down this audit every turn, to include attempting to delete files. They are currently focused on who is paying for the audit, as if that would be a reason to shut it down. It is being funded primarily by private sources. Their efforts to stop this would fill several pages. Why is that? Wouldn't it make sense to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that Biden is the clear-cut winner? Wouldn't that shut up those pesky Republicans once and for all? Or is it possible that they actually do have something to hide? I believe the results of the audit will be like the shot heard round the world. This audit has been conducted with so much precision, accuracy, integrity, and visibility that no court in the land will be able to dispute it. They have designed it to survive the strictest court scrutiny. I believe the results will shake the nation to the very core and probably be the catalyst for forensics audits all across the country. It could trigger things much bigger. Regardless of how upsetting it is, our citizens need to know the truth. The audit will determine that once and for all. 47% of Americans believe that the election was fraudulent. This cannot stand. If citizens lose faith in their own power to vote, democracy will cease to exist and our country will collapse. This forensic audit must continue, and Wisconsin residents should expect and demand no less from our legislators. Write, email, and call your representatives to demand that we, too, conduct a forensic audit of our election here in Wisconsin. To cost The cost to Wisconsin taxpayers will be negligible as they are private funds currently willing to finance it. Your state, Senate, and Assembly representatives need to hear from you now. All right? That's pretty interesting. I told you it was very thorough. Here is something extremely funny. Court rules no reasonable viewers should take Rachel Maddow seriously. That actually took place on the 24th of June. A court ruled that she is invalid. Invalid. She's literally invalid. Now, Stephen Miller came out, who has worked for Trump. All around the country, what you're seeing is states rising up and insisting upon common sense election rules to ensure the principles of one citizen to one vote. We, the people, are removing their methods of cheating that they have used against us for decades. We will have secure elections in 2022 and beyond. This is how you bring down the establishment. You are witnessing the systematic destruction of the old guard. Now, Stephen Miller was on Maria Bartoloma. Iceland becomes the first country in Europe to lift all coronavirus restrictions. They're getting it. I told you about all of the people, almost 1 million people, walking around England, telling all of them to shove it up their butts. Okay? Ay, ay, ay. So much news. So much more. There's been a lot. A lot. Trump actually today says, thank you for the people in Wellington, Ohio last night for an unbelievable evening of the very serious talk, but also fun in many ways with what it was said and the reaction to it. It was legendary. Classified Ministry of Defense documents containing details about HMS Defender and British military have been found at a bus stop in Kent, Britain. That's this morning. If you hadn't heard the news about the Defenders and those people kind of like throwing bombs and flying over each other inside the Black Sea, pretty crazy. Right? Trump Organization lawyer, the corporate office will plead not guilty and will make an immediate motion to dismiss the case against the corporation. So they're trying to go after Trump's corporation because, like you said, anything that they could possibly tie up, anything that they could possibly do to disrupt the normal flow and cause any type of disturbance at all and make people think negatively is really what they're all about. So think about that. Now, if you want to watch things, you want to see the information come out, Fox News was not playing Trump's rally. They weren't following it the same way. I mean, this is for everybody, you know what I mean? Now the places you can go see him is on Rumble. And for the people who are looking to use Rumble, it's expensive. If you want to do live streaming and all that stuff, like for the normal person, Rumble's expensive. And this is what YouTube did, was they took all of your information for cheap costs. So remember, whenever they say that they're giving you something for free, they're taking it from the other side. That's what we've been trying to get out to everybody. Now, I want everybody to enjoy their week. There's going to be so much, there's going to be tons of stuff that's coming out. We did do another show with Bob Levy. We did it live on YouTube. So many things right now. So many things. This is going to be an extremely, extremely busy week. But I want everybody to know that I love you. I want to thank you for all that love and support that you've given me. You guys are awesome. And I want to wish you guys the best week possible. If you have any questions, reach out. If you know any questions that you want to ask it to me. But please keep all that love and support coming, guys. I look forward to it every single day. So I want to thank you guys for everything that you do. I am your host, Anthony, and you've been listening to The Independent Mouth. We'll see you guys at the next show.